Welcome back to LEGO Battlebots Season 4. Kicking off this episode, we have Gingerbread taking on Eye of the Storm. Gingerbread coming in with a convincing win over Titan, while Eye of the Storm mauled Stormbound for its first win. Both bots looking to go 2-0, but I imagine Eye of the Storm is kind of the favorite due to the durability, or rather lack thereof, of Gingerbread's wedges, though the Gingerbread's cult following may be enough to get the win. So let's find out who wins this one down the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Eye of the Storm spins up and already rips one of the wedges off of Gingerbread and another one. Gingerbread only down to one wedge now. This is a problem as they take another serious shot, and that lifter is bent, and there it goes completely. Gingerbread now is just a box there. So I think it's only a matter of time before— oh my god, that was a massive hit. Yeah, Eye of the Storm going to work on the main body now, and Gingerbread only has so long to survive. Eye of the Storm really doesn't have super many reliability issues, and it is gonna take a hell of a lot of effort to take down Eye of the Storm, but it is gonna be over anyways. Gingerbread beached on its back with no way to self-right. A great second win for Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm did exactly what it needed to do. Ripped off the wedges and then went to work, just hit Gingerbread with some absolutely vicious shots until they managed to somehow get Gingerbread near the screws and use them to flip it over. Eye of the Storm with a very impressive second win, being in good position to make the tournament already. Next up, Glitch takes on Overlord. Glitch got ripped apart by Nemesis in its first fight, while Overlord lost to reigning champion Mannerheim. No shame in either of these losses, but both bots probably at least somewhat disappointed that they didn't get the wins. Especially Overlord. Those brick separator forks proved they could get underneath Mannerheim, and they're looking to kill another cheese slope wedge opponent today. Glitches still is a threat to be worried about with that massive 3D printed drum that could cause some serious damage, and neither of these bots can self-right, so whoever lands that first massive hit will probably be at a huge advantage. So let's go down to the arena and see who takes their first win of the season. Let the bot battle begin. Overlord lands a glancing shot to Glitch, but Glitch stays stable. But now Glitch gets underneath, tries to do some more, but doesn't able to. And now Overlord has flipped Glitch, and there's solid shot there trying to get him out of the arena, and they do.
Knockout.
Well, not a very fast fight, but still a good win for Overlord. Glitch didn't get underneath him once, which is concerning for them, but Overlord was able to get underneath, flip Glitch over, and take them out of the arena for the win. Next up, it's Big Dill taking on Stormbound. Big Dill coming out of its fight with Deep Six and a multitude of pieces, while Stormbound coming out of its fight with Eye of the Storm also in a fair amount of pieces. So both bots looking to rebuild after destructive losses and bounce back. It's going to come down to ground game again, as neither of these bots are particularly great, but the durability of Big Dill is going to be its biggest problem. But the fact that Stormbound cannot self-right is a huge problem for it. So let's go down to the arena and see who is able to capitalize on the other. Let the bot battle begin. Little engagement to start things off, and Stormbound seems to be low. Oh no, Big Dill has flipped Stormbound, and Stormbound is in some serious trouble, and they're in the pit.
Knockout.
Well, Big Dill does take a very quick win. It got underneath, Stormbound flipped it, and put it in the pit. Fight number 4 sees Yeti take on the Elementals. Yeti was able to get a pretty strong win over Minotaur in its first fight, while the Elemental, led by Water in their fight against Reticle, were also able to emerge victorious. That's gotta be an interesting fight. Yeti is a tough bot, it's hard to kill. Meanwhile, the Elementals, you never really know what to expect with them. I'm not sure which bot they will pick. I mean, Yeti is heavy, it's hard to control, it's pretty durable. So what do we expect? We're not sure. So let's go down to the arena to see how this fight goes. Let the bot battle begin. It's water out for the elementals again. It's already flipped Yeti. Great start to the fight so far, and they're out of the arena.
Knockout.
Well, water did exactly what they need to do. Flip Yeti, get him out of the arena. The elementals are 2-0 now. Up next is Standalone versus Heatwave. Standalone was losing pretty badly to Apex of all lots before Apex decided to Apex itself. As for Heatwave, it was able to get a pretty quick and surprisingly easy win over Stag 2. No, both busting at 1-0, but they really need more to prove themselves here. And it's going to come down to ground game. If Heatwave can rip off that upgraded wedge of Standalone, then they'd be in a pretty good spot. However, if Standalone can get underneath, Heatwave can't self-right, so that's going to be a problem. So let's go down to the arena to see who wins this fight. Let the bot battle begin. It's Standalone who has the low ground here, throws Heatwave into the screws, but that doesn't work. No, Heatwave's the one who's getting underneath, loses a fork in the process, and now slams Standalone into the corner. Standalone retreats, and then Heatwave gets underneath again, and the wedge is gone. That is a serious problem for Standalone to be facing, and there goes the fork of Heatwave. Are they able to capitalize on this? They've lost 3 of total forks out of their 4. And there they go, there goes the last one. Standalone able to kind of get back up. Can they escape from screws? Heatwave trying to make sure they don't. But Standalone looks like he's going to be able to get back to the playing field and back on his tracks. And now they're able to get underneath Heatwave using the lifter, nearly flipped him over there, but Heatwave gets back right side up. But that, I think, is going to do it.
10,
Standalone
9,
loses his
8,
wedge, but is
7,
able to adapt
6,
and overcome
5,
the pressure,
4,
and is able to get
3,
its second win
2,
of the season.
1. Knockout.
Well, if Standalone started this fight with the first engagement, but Heatwave started with the first damage, ripping that wedge off. Well, actually, the first real big damage was the wedge coming off, but Standalone was able to adapt from there. They were able to rip the rest of the forks off of Heatwave, or just have them come off, and then they were able to flip Heatwave over for a second knockout win. Moving on to fight number 6, it's Bite Force taking on Jackpot, the Season 1 champ, off to a rough start to its season after it got beat up pretty badly by Riptide. Meanwhile, Jackpot was knocked out by Spellbreak in its first fight. It's going to come down to ground game as both bots are unable to self-right or drive inverted, and both bots definitely have the weapon power in order to flip their opponent, so let's see who's able to get that done down in the arena. Let the bot battle begin. Jackpot gets underneath Bite Force to start this fight and pushes them into the screws. It was a great start to this fight for Jackpot. Can they follow it up? They do get underneath again. Unable to really get a great push in that time, and there they go again. Jackpot in control early, and there's another great hit from Jackpot. And again, Jackpot dominating the ground game so far. Bite Force is struggling early on in this fight, but there's a solid counter shot from the Season 1 champ. And again, back-to-back blows. Can they follow it up? And oh, Jackpot has flipped Bite Force on its head and is quickly backing off. They are going to take the win. Jackpot bouncing back to 1-1, while Bite Force, the Season 1 champion, is at 0-2 again.
Knockout.
Well, Jackpot started off controlling the low ground, got the advantage with most of the early exchanges. Bite Force was able to battle back with a couple of nice counter punches, but Jackpot was the bot who flipped Bite Force first, and since Bite Force can't self-right, it was over for the former champ. For our penultimate fight, we see Buzzkill taking on Stag 2. The rookie Buzzkill got ripped apart by fellow rookie Yorker in his first fight, while Stag 2 was quickly dispatched by Heatwave. So both bots had pretty rough losses to start their season, but the durability, especially with Buzzkill, was proven. It took a while for Yorker to get the kill shot. So it's going to be, these are two very strange designs. Not many bots are built like these two. So it's going to be fascinating to see how these two weapons interact, how much that power Buzzkill truly has in that weapon. So let's go down to the arena and see what happens. Let the bot battle begin. Stag 2 with Buzzkill spin up for weapons, and nothing major on that first collision. nothing major on the second collision either. Obviously, Stag 2 gonna have the advantage in ground game here as they really are getting underneath Buzzkill, but no real damage to Hero Machine as of yet. Neither weapon seems to be particularly powerful. Buzzkill lands a direct side-on shot to Stag 2, and that does not seem to do much. Now Stag 2 trying to get Buzzkill in the screws. They have done so, trying to jam them up in there. Good job at Buzzkill, quick to escape, and then they are now upside down, courtesy of Stag 2. Stag 2 doing a great job controlling Buzzkill, who then self-rights using the screws, only to right back in with that weapon. Yeah, that doesn't seem to be doing much damage to Stag 2. It doesn't really seem to be getting some good impacts. That's going to be problematic if they can't beat a bot like Stag 2. They're not going to have a great chance of making the tournament. And that there is struggling to get anything major done. It's at least Stag 2 also isn't really doing any damage, but they are controlling the action here, getting underneath Buzzkill repeatedly, and that weapon is just not doing much for Buzzkill. Stag 2 so far in total control in this fight. Oh, that doesn't seem good. Buzzkill's weapon kind of just bounces off the floor, kind of dragging on there. I think Stag 2 could have killed that weapon somehow. There's a great ramp they do to flip Buzzkill over. Like, it's hard to tell, but maybe that axle is bent out of that hole, as you can see, trying to spin up the weapon, but it just doesn't work. It's spinning on the axle, but it's touching the ground. This is some serious damage, and if Buzzkill doesn't have its weapon, it doesn't have anything. You see, it's just trying to spin up. The weapon is rotating freely, but it just keeps hitting the floor, which is a significant problem. Stag 2 controlling the pace of this fight throughout, and they've basically been dominating all three categories right now. Buzzkill needs to find a way to get a knockout, get Stag 2 on its side, because if they can, this is going to go to the judges, and it's going to be a pretty obvious decision. Stag 2 in total control as they just continue to bully Buzzkill around. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that axle has been removed from the hole on the left side of the frame. That's what's causing the weapon to drag on the ground. And I hope Stag 2 doing a little bit of spinning with Buzzkill as a hat. That's a bit of a flex. Just a little bit extra disrespect there as Buzzkill just continues to flounder. I think time is running out, and this fight is gonna in fact go to a judge's decision. Pretty dang obvious who won this one though. This absolute dominant performance by Stag 2. Well, Buzzkill did not really prove itself in this fight. That weapon was doing absolutely nothing to Stag 2. And while Stag 2 spinners weren't doing anything to Buzzkill either, they were just kind of in control. Stag 2 completely dominated that fight. And when Buzzkill lost its weapon, really just sealed the deal. Well, there was nothing Buzzkill could do to Stag 2. And Stag 2 just completely capitalized on that factor. The winner by 12-3 judge decision is Stag 2! I'm for the main event. Cherry Blossom taking on Hydra. Pink versus purple. Cherry Blossom killed Bloodsport in just 2 shots in its last fight, while Hydra got a massive comeback win over Season 2 champion Sawblaze. Both bots were rookies last season and are looking to prove that their runs last year were not flukes. So far, they are doing a good job of that, but only one of them is going to be able to go 2-0. Cherry Blossom's weapon hits incredibly hard, but Hydra's flipper is no slouch either. Gonna come down probably, ironically, to ground game for a horizontal spinner or bot matchup. That's very odd, but if Hydra does have a wedge, so if it's able to get underneath Cherry Blossom, cause some serious problems. And obviously, Cherry Blossom is going to hope that its weapon can outreach that wedge and then hit the main body of Hydra itself. If it's able to do that, well, let's go down to the arena and find out. Let the main event begin. Cherry Blossom already starts, and it seems that at least from the side, that weapon can hit the chassis of Hydra, and those forks are getting underneath Hydra's wedge. But the wedge is able to keep the spinner at bay if it doesn't get underneath. But oh, that is not a good sign as they get underneath again. Cherry Blossom now turning around backwards in order to use more reach, and that seems to be working to hit Hydra. And now Hydra's wedge has come off. Hydra's defenses and ground game are down. This is a very bad sign. Cherry Blossom does lose a fork, but Cherry Blossom follows up with a nasty hit. That horizontal spinner now starting to go to work on Hydra. And this is going to be a serious problem. Hydra needs to try and outlast that spinner. We've seen it take some damage in the past. And the forks on Cherry Blossom are all starting to fall off as well, down to 3 out of the 6 original. But how long can Hydra's chassis keep up with these exchanges? And back in Season 3, Nemesis was able to split Hydra in half. Can Cherry Blossom do the same here as they send Hydra careening to the corner, and there goes something. I believe that was a part keeping the weapon of Hydra on. And Cherry Blossom now down to 2 forks though, when all the forks on the left side are gone, but Cherry Blossom's weapon continuing to wreak havoc. But Hydra still for the most part is holding up. And both these bots continue the battle. This fight is not over yet, as it seems like Cherry Blossom's weapon is starting to fray at one of the tips. This could get nasty. Oh! Cherry Blossom's spinner ejects a brick from one of the tips, and that weapon is starting to taste damage. There goes another piece. Cherry Blossom's weapon, and it's not quite neutralized yet, but oh my, there go the 2 bricks from the other side. And Cherry Blossoms has lost most of its weapon power, most of that moment inertia, focused in the center, and there goes another piece. I don't know if we've seen Cherry Blossom take quite this much damage to the weapon, and as Hydra has absorbed the blows, but they need to go on the offensive if they hope to win this fight. Cherry Blossom's weapon now not even hitting Hydra. They need to capitalize. They are way behind on points, and they are trying to do something. They flip Cherry Blossom over. Can they get them out of the arena? Almost so close, but they lose the flipper, and Cherry Blossom, with those 2 forks remaining, is able to flip Hydra over with the screws.
10,
what
9,
a fight, but
8,
Cherry Blossom
7,
able to
6,
get right
5,
back in after
4,
losing its weapon.
3,
What a battle
1,
between these 2 bots. Cherry Blossom controlled the opening engagements. Hydra's wedge did not work at all. Well, it worked for a little tiny bit, and then it got ripped off, and Cherry Blossom started to go to work. Hydra was taking some serious shots, and in these engagements, they took some damage that could have helped with the flipper getting removed in the later parts of this fight. But Hydra was able to hold on through the damage and was able to break Cherry Blossom's weapon. And eventually did so much damage to Cherry Blossom's weapon that it wasn't even able to hit Hydra anymore. And Hydra went on the attack from there, but it was very short-lived as that flipper quickly broke. If they had gotten this flip out of the arena, it would have been an incredible comeback. They would have won it, but unfortunately, Cherry Blossom's fork survived, and that allowed them to flip Hydra and win.